Okay. I figured this was probably as good a place to start this video off as any. Basically, what I'm pointing out here is, okay, I did a video on this when I first started my channel, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to revisit this topic. Basically, it's about this, my original video was about this underground base, so to speak, and the reason I got into it is because I found out this place is in Antarctica, right? And I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to that also, but basically, the breakdown. It's in Antarctica. It was in Antarctica. It was underground, and from what I gathered is that they used this place to measure neutrino beams. Okay, you see this right here? Underground neutrino beam. Now, from what I gathered, they were saying that these neutrino beams pass through the Earth, all the time. They claim that they had their research facility deep underground, so whatever, to quell any kind of outside interference or whatever, right? We're all pretty sure that neutrino beams and gamma rays and all that bullshit, we don't even think that they really exist the way they say it does, like all the stuff going on in CERN, right? So I still have a theory about this, and I'm going to get to that, but I decided to start looking it back up, and this is the first thing I found. Okay, I just wanted to point out. I mean, look at this. Is this the entrance? Okay, but the guy says that he went down to this research facility. Now this is in Chicago. This place here. Now I'm going to play this little clip, and you'll see that what they intend to do is, well, according to them, they want to recreate the sun or something as hot as the sun, and then measure the neutrinos that come off of it or whatever. Fucking billion-dollar project. Let me just play this for y'all.
Here at Fermilab, in this world of tunnels, researchers from across the world plan to build instruments to create a beam 100 times more powerful than the sun. Their aim is to study mysterious particles called neutrinos. Neutrinos are particles that are generated by the sun. They are all around us. Billions of them pass right through the Earth. As we zoom in towards Chicago to Fermilab, every now and again one of them bumps into part of our world and changes slightly. There's a greater chance of such changes if they pass through lots of rock. So here, deep underground, researchers plan to artificially create a beam of trillions of neutrinos in what will be the biggest experiment ever carried out. They then plan to fire the beam 800 miles across the country to a gigantic detector. Located in South Dakota, it will monitor how they change on the way. The beam widens to several miles across as it goes through all that rock. At the other end, scientists will be able to measure how many have been changed. The detector will be like this, only 200 times larger. It's emerged that 9 British universities will help to build it.
Neutrinos are very exciting to work with. Basically, they are the most abundant matter particle in the universe, but we know basically nothing about them. So it's going to be very exciting to unravel some of the mysteries that the neutrinos are holding.
It was the Japanese that first discovered that neutrinos change as they travel 16 years ago. Ever since then, researchers have been convinced that the way neutrinos change was important in the first few moments of creation. The aim of this new international project is to...
Okay. There's only a couple minutes left. There's only a minute left.
Mysterious particles help shape the early universe. Palad Ghosh, BBC News, Chicago.
Well, from science to Sochi right now.
Okay. All right. So, sorry I let it run out that long, but okay, I got a few things to say about that. First of all, the stuff that they're talking about doing, okay, the regular person knows nothing about that shit. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire all sorts of, these beams underground, directly under where you live. But don't worry, it's totally fine. Like, what gets me is this is the problem. Okay, this is the problem that we're having. People just blindly trust. They blindly trust, They put out these fucking commercials where, in the commercial they say, oh my God, if I'd only known that there was a vaccine for that, right? No, I mean, what the fuck? Vaccine, okay, autism, 1 in 5,000. I'm not sure when, but it was 20s or 30s, fucking 100 years ago, whatever. Doesn't matter. 1 in 5,000 births would be autism, okay? Now, it's 1 in 50. Okay, you think something's up? They're spraying aluminum and barium in the sky, and that doesn't get talked about. We just found out that most of the people that run the show either are or are heavily involved with pedophilia, with other people that are involved with pedophilia. Alright, I'm going to find something else to show you real quick. Let me pause the video. Okay, I just found this. We're going to watch it together. I haven't seen it before, but...
They're everywhere.
Oh, it's a
You'll
cartoon.
never see one. Trillions of them are flying through you right this second, but you can't feel them. These ghost particles are called neutrinos, and if we can catch them, they can tell us about the furthest reaches and most extreme environments of the universe. Neutrinos are elementary particles, meaning that they can't be subdivided into other particles the way atoms can. Elementary particles are the smallest known building blocks of everything in the universe, and the neutrino is one of the smallest of the small. 1,000,000 times less massive than an electron, neutrinos fly easily through matter unaffected by magnetic fields. In fact, they hardly ever interact with anything. That means that they can travel through the universe in a straight line for millions or even billions of years, safely carrying information about where they came from. So where do they come from? Pretty much everywhere. They're produced in your body from the radioactive decay of potassium. Cosmic rays hitting atoms in the Earth's atmosphere create showers of them. They're produced by nuclear reactions
Bullshit!
and by radioactive decay inside the Earth. And we can generate them in nuclear reactors and particle accelerators. But the highest energy neutrinos are born far out in space, in environments that we know very little about. Something out there, maybe supermassive black holes, or maybe some cosmic dynamo.
Okay, have you had enough bullshit? Alright, so... Look, there's gotta be some basic thing that they do. Probably a $10,000 machine that takes and amplifies a laser beam or something, and I just, and gives these scientists something to study. I really don't know. I believe that there are, I'm not saying I don't believe anything science says, I like chemistry because I know chemistry is a solid science, and I believe that that's what's going on here. Some sort of a chemical reaction of some sort with a lot of anomalies that they can give it to these people to study. I mean, regardless of what it is, what I think it is, I think they're just big, literally, like, black hole budgets, right? I find it interesting that the man in the first video clip talked about a maze of tunnels, or just, lots of tunnels, right? Now, let's just say, like a broad overview. We have ancients that we know were obsessed with the sky and recording time. We have stories all over our world about a flood, about a worldwide flood. Lots of us believe that the ancients took the time out of their busy lives to build these things that would withstand some of these cataclysms with potential warnings, or just simply saying, hey, we were here. I believe there are natural occurrences. I think that our world goes through and is constantly going through life and death cycles. My only conclusion that I can draw is that the ancients knew about this, and a lot of this esoteric knowledge, all this, if you follow any of Santos Bonacci's work, now, let me just say, I don't agree with everything that anybody says. So I just want to get that out there. But I take bits and pieces of what everybody says, and some things just click. And basically what Santos Bonacci will say is that astrology is the real astronomy. You feel me? Astrology used to be a common knowledge. People just knew, and it was passed down and taught that when the sun rises at this point, during this season, during this month, on this day, since you were born on that day at this time, these things affect you. And I think that we really, really had a good grasp on what, in fact, it is and how it works. And Santos Bonacci will tell you that, you gotta wonder, why was the Library of Alexandria destroyed, right? The idea was to just smash all this knowledge, just take it, throw it all in a bag, bust it all up, and just distribute it all over the world, little different pieces of it here and there. And you find these similarities between places and people that are separated by thousands of miles and hundreds, if not thousands of years. Yet the similarities are, consistent, like too many consistencies for it to just be an accident, right? This leads me to think, and I am going to get to the point here, but this leads me to think, okay, why does the Vatican own so many telescopes? Why does the Vatican own the world's most powerful telescope? What are they looking at? What are they looking at, or what is it that they're looking for? Okay, a lot of us believe, now, I'm undecided, but I got one foot in the door on this, only because, of what I've seen with my own eyes. A lot of us believe that they chemtrail the skies, and they're always chemtrailing in front of and around the sun during, sunrises and sunsets. Basically, like in every state, there's a team of planes that are ready to go as the sun comes their way. Why? And it's not every day. But I bet you if we start putting together timelines of what the days are that they do spray heavily, I think we might start to find a pattern. I think that right now, there are signs in the sky that would be completely, People would be like, what the fuck is that? What is this eclipse? Did you hear about the eclipse that happened yesterday? Things like that. But if you got the sky already heavily overcast, nobody's going to see these things, So when I made my first video about this ice cube research facility in Antarctica, meant to measure fucking invisible neutrino beams from space. Again, what the fuck type of equipment are you using to measure these neutrinos? You never ever hear them show the machine. They'll just show this big extravagant thing, but they don't show the machine. And then and at first it's like, are you trying to measure the ones from space, or are you trying to recreate them? Because they'll give you both stories. They say the one in Chicago, they're trying to recreate them and shoot them across the country into the ground. But the bottom line is, what's the common thing? They're both under the ground with tunnels. Now, if you were building vast tunnel systems throughout the country and you're trying to do it under the noses of the people, rather than say it's a big secret thing, you make up some shit like this. You hire some fucking people to say that they're over here doing research. Change their lives. Give them each fucking $1 million. They're simpletons. That's all you gotta do is give them $1 million, change their fucking lives, and tell them, listen, here's your narrative. This is what you found. You don't even have to come into work. You just gotta show up every now and then and fucking go in front of the camera. This is what you found, right? That would not be hard to do. In this day and age, man, the way how money is so damn hard to come by, and what's even more hard to come by is friendly people who are willing to fucking help you out. It's not hard to buy somebody's loyalty, and besides, you give them the money and you tell them if they ever fucking say anything about it, they're dead, right? And that's that, So again, what's the point? I can't say much about the one in Chicago, but geez, just look back at the beginning. Look at those big concrete, like, what the hell is that? What is that big? Like, that's like the entrance to it. What exactly is that? Is that something that's made where, I bet you anything there's entrances on the top of that thing where maybe if there's a flood or whatever, it can be found, right? This is what I think. You hear all this stuff when they say the first, the world has ended a few times. The first one, or one by water, and one's going to be by fire. We've heard of this, right? I think that when our planet was created all in one shot, all in one day, or whatever, if that's what happened, basically it's chemistry. It's a chemistry set. You have all these elements. You have, right? And I think that's what the lava and the volcanoes are. I believe that what happens is when you start the experiment, you put everything in it, and your chemical reactions start to happen. Things get hot. Things start to, stuff starts to happen. This lava action starts to happen. Then you open up the windows in the firmament. You open up the floodgates, so to speak, and you pour a bunch of water in, which is going to cool a large portion of the top of it. Now you have your land. Now you have your solid, firma, terra firma, right? Now, I'm just theorizing here, right? But we know it's not a fucking globe, and we know it doesn't have a metal core, molten metal core, because we haven't drilled down that far enough anyways, okay? So we know there's lava, so there is something going on. I believe what's going on is it's heat, it's chemical reactions that are still going on from the creation, and every now and then, I think that stuff comes to a head. I think that things like the Yellowstone caldera, at some point, I think, if it's like they say it is, I think that something has to give at some point. Basically, if you were to look at the Ring of Fire on a flat Earth, it almost looks like that snake's tongue right on the NASA logo. It really does look like two large rifts that go right down the center of the landmass. So we know we have tectonic plates. We know that the ground underneath us moves from time to time. Again, this could be consistent with a landmass that's kind of floating on the Great Deep, because there's a lot of air pockets down within, or better than that, pockets with gases like helium, right? And you see that there's a lot of mountain ranges, like the Rockies. They run right up the coast, and if you look over in Europe, there's or over in where the Andes Mountains are, large chain of mountains, and they're all like by the coast, by the water. So you got to think maybe we had molten rock and water and everything down underneath, and the top, the crust part, so to speak, was freely moving, at one point, which probably just caused all those mountains to just get heaved up, and then maybe it cooled or something. But my point is, you have this place over in Antarctica, supposedly in the South Pole, that is 250 feet down, right? And now, if any of the stuff that we look into or have read is to be believed or is to just be taken into consideration, let's just say you get these badass telescopes, you know exactly when, or really close to exactly when, things are going to come to a head, and the whole center landmass is just going to be completely chaotic with a lot of death, a lot of ash in the sky, right? Things like that. So if you know that that's going to happen, and you know that it has happened many times before, right? Jesus, my brain's shot. But what the hell is that place? They made a movie about it where the volcano just hit so quick, so many people couldn't get out of the way. It's like frozen in time. Can't believe I can't remember the name of the place. But anyways, let's just say they got that Lucifer telescope. They're looking at the sky for some reason. Okay, so maybe they know exactly how the world works. Maybe they know that you can burn all the fossil fuels you want, and there's windows in the firmament that actually provide fresh air, which could be an explanation for the winds and how the winds seem to come from a certain direction, and maybe that's really what it is. The center of the landmass, the center of the earth is just going to be fucking absolute hell. Literally hell on earth, right? Yellowstone Caldera is going to fucking just explode, right? So your best chance would be to be out on the edges, somewhere on the edge, down underground, and, close to the edge of the firmament where there's fresh air coming in. And that's just my theory. Peace.